Today I would like to have a closer look at the 24-hour race at the Nürburgring and its development over the years. The 24-hour race is one race of the so-called VLN or now NLS racing series. Special about it is that races are only at the Nürburgring including Nordschleife and its big variety of cars. The race is very popular among fans because they can get closer to the action than at any other professional racing series, and there are a lot of small budget teams that build their own race cars themselves. And that is the fascination for a lot of people. Normal guys and girls get together, build a race car and race it at the Nordschleife. You can find all sorts of cars from a VW Corrado to an Audi A8 W12. In the past it was even possible to win the 24-hour race overall with a BMW 320d. But then the GT3 class was introduced and manufacturers offered their race cars for sale, including factory support. For teams, that meant that, although buying such a ready-to-race factory car is expensive, they would immediately be competitive and wouldn't have to build their own car. Over the years, more and more teams changed to GT3, GT4 and Cup cars. So cars that are designed as race cars from a manufacturer. The small budget teams that build their own race cars and create the fascination of the 24-hour race could not keep up with the speed increase of the manufacturer cars, and racing became more and more expensive for them due to higher entry fees. The result is that small teams stopped racing because they couldn't afford it anymore, or they lost the fun in it, because they have to look into their mirrors more often to check for faster cars than concentrating on their own racing line. And if crashes happen, then it's pretty often the case that the faster car was driven by a professional, paid driver who doesn't have to pay for the crash because the team or the sponsor will cover for it. For the slower car, on the other hand, it's a major disaster because the driver built the car himself in countless hours and cannot afford to rebuild a new car for the next race or not even for next year. In addition to that, the TV coverage of the 24-hour race rarely shows the small teams and concentrates on the GT3 fight at the front. If then slower cars make a mistake or don't clear the way immediately, they are pushed off the track and will get bad press later on. So the question is, do we want the 24-hour race or the whole NLS series to be like any other GT3 series with factory support and paid drivers? Or do we want the unique spirit of low-budget teams, self-made race cars of all kinds, and teams where somebody can be team boss, driver and mechanic in one person? So do we need an own racing series for GT3 and GT4 cars on one side, and on the other side an old-school 24-hour race with lower entry fees to bring back smaller teams and their self-made race cars to the ring? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.